name of this show is InVoke Podcast. We chose that name because we want to invoke thought amongst the community. We want to talk about some of the things that, you get together with your homeboy, your homegirl, y'all having a conversation about life, what's wrong with it, and what to do. Like the bigger picture type conversations, those deep conversations. We want to hear people from different walks of life talk about their experiences. The topic of today is barriers to success. So I'm going to open the conversation up with what are some challenges that you guys face in your industry?
The lack of commitment with people.
Yes.
That plays a factor when trying to work with people in general, not just in business or in your industry or whatever you do. Even if you starting to do something new and you need people to help you with, like, people have to be committed to do things.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have a lot of time to put in, or they think that they may have time to put in and don't. And that's okay, but if you're going to do something and you're expecting it to go long term or expecting it to even make a profit, you got to put the work in. If you're not putting the work in, you're not going to see nothing from it.
I know me personally, like that has been a struggle for me over the years, maintaining that same energy throughout. Like at the beginning, you start out, you excited, especially as a creative. Oh, boom, you off running, sprinting at the beginning. But then, like, toward the middle, you run into some obstacles, you run into some doubts, even self-doubt that comes into play, and then it starts to like burn you out, and then toward the end it's just kind of like, well, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with the commitment part because at first, like, you see other folks doing what you're trying to do, but it's kind of difficult when you're doing it on your own, and then you have to keep on encouraging yourself to keep on going. So many Black business owners, I know that they've had some difficult times because they had to keep on pushing themselves.
yeah, the sleepless nights is ridiculous. And then, like, let's say you're not rich and you have to fund it yourself, you probably need to work a full-time job on top of that.
What you guys are discussing is pretty much where I feel like is like the core problem. And I'll say, I guess, in America, is just the lack of the work-life balance. Because for me personally, I feel like we shouldn't have to work so hard to get from point A to point B. The dynamic here, you need to work yourself to death just to get to the next step. And it's a little bit crazy because for me, I got so sucked into work that I felt like that mom guilt. I was neglecting my family, neglecting time, neglecting self-care, and just all for the sake of work. And just to make a living. And it's just like, at what point do you have to stop and say, this is too much?
That's frustrating. They will literally not take a lunch break or any break for that matter. And it's like celebrated. And I'm like, what? Can I use the restroom? Like, is that looked down upon?
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous how much of your life is dominated by things you need to do versus things you want to do,
We have to choose in between our personal life or choose our career and getting somewhere. So it's a little bit difficult, and that will be something I wish that we could change, but I know it won't because it's been like this for years. But yeah, I find that as a struggle, really.
Yes. Everything yes to that. I was literally just talking to Jordan about this yesterday, about how, like, I feel bad with, I don't have any kids myself personally, but I do have a baby sister, and I want to be in her life as much as possible. Like, I consider myself like 18, you know what I mean? Like, to her, she's like 6. Some milestones I will miss because either A, I've had to work, or B, like, even pursuing my dreams. Like, let's say as an artist, I perform here and there. So, like, let's say I have a performance, you know what I'm saying? But it's at the same time that she has swim practice and she learned something new in swim. And it's like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to see her learn that, or I'm not going to be able to go. And
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because like even my old manager, she was just like, "Oh, but they're not like you. You like to stay late and stuff like that." I was like, "I do not like to stay late. I
who
have to
likes to
stay
do
late
that?
because you gave me work." So,
Right.
it's just like also it depends on the management mentality as well, and I don't know, it's just an ongoing struggle.
It is. It really is like those toxic work environments. But again, it's not seen or labeled as toxic. It's just, the cultural norm of America to hustle hard. Y'all know that one song? What was it? He was like, it was six jobs. I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired. Like that whole song was like, why? Who wants 6 jobs and who wants to bust their behind? It's crazy to me. So that's definitely one of the obstacles I would say to even really growing your business and trying to make something out of nothing. Bring your creativity into reality and manifest it is sometimes you want to be committed, but you really can't. Another thing actually that Shanice had mentioned as far as like, being taken away from your kids and stuff. Some companies, it should be a requirement, in my opinion, to have childcare provided by the company that you work for, even if it's like McDonald's or something. Like, I feel like that should be, I don't know, that should be like a benefit that is just custom across the board. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I brought it up, I don't know, maybe 20 times. Talked to the VP. I'm like, what are you guys doing about this? Because you want people to work full time. And most of them are parents. And it's like, where are their kids going? It's too expensive. They get sick. They get time out from school. It's just a little bit difficult. So it's kind of like they don't give you much tools and they leave you to figure it out. But, hey, I still need to show up and do my 40 plus hours or I'm out of a job. So
exactly. I'm actually gonna tell y'all some stuff. So I work in HR and a lot of stuff, is confidential, reasons why people get terminated or reasons why people don't get picked for a job. But I can tell y'all from my last company that I worked with, first and foremost, it's illegal to discriminate against a person based on if they have somebody to take care of their kids or not, if they have pretty much a village or a support system established. But it's illegal, right? But they had these little questions that they would ask just to see, like, okay, are you able to fully commit with absolutely no distractions? Because it was a remote work from home job. It was like we were hiring call center agents and they had to be at their computer, cameras on, couldn't have any distractions. We had to literally watch them be focused for their full shift, which is crazy as heck in my opinion. But the questions they would ask would pretty much be geared toward, do you have someone to help you pretty much take care of your kids? And if you don't, then 10 times out of 10, you wouldn't even get picked for the job over somebody that doesn't have that same, and I don't want to call it the same like issue because it shouldn't be considered an issue, who doesn't have that same situation.
Some jobs, like, they don't care if you have the proper support system or not, as long as you just come on to work and go above and beyond. And they really don't care if you're tired or not. They just think, well, you knew what you was getting yourself into, so you need to basically keep on doing your job, whether you fall sick, your kids fall sick, or anything else happens. I've been at plenty of.
So, just I wanted to say something on this because I had my first child when I was 19, so pretty much experiencing this from that age. I'm also a single mother of 3. My last born was going to be 1 month Thursday. Yeah. Like Jade was saying, like I've been through something similar, between jobs and just like going from one job to the next because I feel like no one understands like when you have kids or when you have to do it like by yourself. And it's hard. And it's like for people looking like from the outside, they're like, oh yeah, she got it. But then it's like, you know what you're going through, like the struggle. And it's just like, if I had to tell you how many jobs I've had because of the fact that if like one of my kids got sick or like they just couldn't understand that, hey, I got to leave early, something came up, I'm the only one, who I'm the only one. It's like, for me, my kids come first.
Right.
So
As they
no
should.
matter, right. So no matter the job, like I'm out. If you can't understand, then that's that. But yeah, it's hard. So I just wanted to say that.
It definitely is. And I have quit or turned down plenty of jobs that wouldn't work with me or my child's schedule. So it's definitely hard.
It's
Yeah.
it's a problem.
And I'm even like ashamed to say, because even in my previous position, these companies, they pretty much train and tell you, we're not supposed to discriminate, not supposed to do this, but you can tell they gear towards a certain demographic. And I'll say, like, the ones without kids, the ones that's young or still in college, and, they can come into work whenever, because there was countless times we had interviews with people, and they needed like one day off for their kid, or they needed to get off by this time to pick somebody up, and that would automatically take them off the hiring list, because they wanted somebody that was going to be there, reliable, to work without any excuses. And it's just kind of sad. That's kind of what drive me to leave, and I am so happy I did, because I'm happy where I'm at now. They're not like that. They understand work-life balance, and I'm hoping more companies are like that in the future.
Yeah, honestly, something needs to change. So I don't know if we got to vote or if we need to be the ones in the office. Like, look, I'll get Adrian for president. Y'all let me know. I'm just playing. Y'all don't want me to be president, trust me. Let's shift gears away from corporate America, and let's, because I feel like, I don't know how y'all feel about Kanye West. I'm from Chicago, so Kanye West back in the day was like,
now, but back in the day, like, some of the stuff that he said was valid, but folks really wasn't listening to him because how he was portraying it.
how he the girl. So let's segue. He's found true freedom. And unfortunately, because of the world that we live in, that means that you do have to be some level of wealthy, like rich, monetary wise. But once you are able to start your own business and branch away from these corporate jobs and stuff like that, that's when you truly are free. That's when you truly can like call the shots yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you set your hours, and of course you ain't gonna be able to be sleeping in till like noon every day. Like if anything, you probably have to wake up earlier and put a little more work in, but you're not gonna be like a Nick Cannon where you say the wrong thing and your whole show is cut. They don't care how long you've been on air. Like so I aspire myself to be more like Kanye in regards to where he started building his own business. He used the wealth that all these other companies that were sponsoring him helped him get. And the music, of course, too, because he's a freaking legend and I love him. But sorry. Um yeah, he used all of that to start building his own brand. And I mean, I don't know all the logistics behind it, but I feel like we should follow his template. And I like the fact that a lot of people are. There's a lot of Black businesses that are growing and developing out of nowhere. But a lot of them fall short due to a lot of these obstacles that I kind of wanted to touch on today. One of the examples is like, what Jay was kind of alluding to, like how Kanye, a lot of his messages were very based in facts. They were super factual. However, they were not delivered properly. So, with businesses nowadays, especially, it's not limited to Black businesses, but especially amongst, a lot of African American owned businesses, there's terrible communication. Like customer service, I've had, child, I could tell y'all some experiences. Y'all might actually. I'm opening the door if y'all want to contribute to any experiences y'all have had with this. But, you know, maybe you. I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it. Jordan know what I'm talking about because something recently happened where there was just a huge amount of disrespect toward me, and I was trying to collaborate with a business owner to host an event, and because he didn't really know how to handle business and he didn't like some of the, he couldn't strong arm me as a woman, right? And I'm going to stand my ground. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. He was just like, well, cancel the whole event. And now it looks bad on me. The people that I bring to the venue or I invite, I got to tell them, oh, so there was whatever. Me and the owner decided to go our separate ways. But there's a lack of respect that our community has towards each other that I really hate. You know what I mean? Like,
let me tell you how petty. No, cause built a Yeezy store right around the corner. from an Adidas store just to be petty, knowing that everybody's gonna go to Yeezy. That's true
That
petty.
is honestly godlike. We need to start showing these. Well, anyways, what you said, Jordy? I'm sorry.
But that's a smart business move, though.
Heck yeah. That's a statement right there. Go on, get into it. I think we got to Leah back. Let's see if her connection is good.
Is it better? Can you hear me?
Yes, Lord. What's up?
Okay, Jesus. I was going to say within the African American community, we are operating off of trauma and fear. And this is why our communications and the things that we do not work well. Because, for one, we're not whole within ourselves and we're not whole in the situations that we're trying to do. But it ultimately stems from trauma, from family, from past things, and so forth. So that's all I wanted to say on that one.
That's big. That right there is something that needs to be talked about more because trauma comes from who? Our parents, who come from who? Their parents, who come from our ancestors and history. And it sucks that our history is rooted in such toxicity. Not necessarily. No, I don't even want to say it's rooted because it's not rooted in that. It just got disrupted by some toxicity. You know what I mean? With slavery and what's up, girl?
I think I was gonna say the history that we have been taught about ourselves within the country that we live in is toxicity. But if you look at our history as a whole, we are very positive and strong people who
Yeah,
don't get credit for what credit is due.
that part. That is the part right there. That's why I was like, let me correct that because we're not rooted in no trauma in that. Nah, we just got a little disrupted in the
Yes.
timeline of our
And they
ancestors.
want us, yeah, and they want us to operate in that trauma.
Yeah.
And that's why they only portray us in that type of environment as slaves, as servants, because they want us to make us think that way of ourselves, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It does. It makes a whole lot of sense. It's a lot of psychological warfare that has gone on, that is still going on. It's crazy because last night on my way to sleep, I'm on Instagram looking at, they were showing the old school couples from TV, like on Fresh Prince, who else? Martin. Like all of the black love that we used to see on TV, they took that down. You don't really see that anymore in media. If anything in media, you see what's the girl Ari and Moneybag Yo or
Ghetto. But they're
right.
funny though.
Straight trash, trash.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Ghetto.
I'm not trying to
That,
say that they're trash, but
that
we we've
They
seen that show.
entertaining. Right, right. It's entertaining, but it's
I'll be tired of hearing about the same folks cheating. Like,
Krishan
they
and
don't get.
whatever the dude name is.
Move on now.
Girl, yes. That's facts. That's facts. And it's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They're doing this for a reason. They are dividing and conquering us because they don't want us to succeed as a race. They don't want us to take back our power because they know when we do, baby, it's on. They know. They know. And they right. They right. But that's kind of the whole point of really why we wanted to start this podcast and why this was going to be one of the major topics that we talked about was communication and a lot of different barriers even outside of that to us being successful as a whole, as a people. Because once we start rooting ourselves, I guess uprooting the trauma that has been placed in our DNA at some point along our timeline of history, if y'all are following the way I'm speaking right now, once we are able to unravel that and pretty much iron that out, there is no cap to the success that we can have. We could really build another Black Wall Street as a collective. The only thing is we got to do stuff differently this time than what happened before. We weren't very much protected. But there's a lot of theories to why Black Wall Street ended the way that it ended. I don't know if y'all know the history or not, but definitely look up Black Wall Street if you don't know. Moving to the next topic is like lack of professionalism That's a major issue. And it kind of ties into the communication aspect that a lot of businesses struggle with. But it's the professionalism, like I said, the customer service skills oftentimes are not there. And really, actually, Jordan, I don't know if you are with us right now, but you
Yeah.
had brought up something in there under professionalism, like how people so focused on certain things. I don't know if you want to share that.
I'm trying to remember, what did I say?
It was like people are always focused on the money and not,
Oh yeah.
the long
Well,
term.
I don't want to just point out to a specific, group, but a lot of people go into business thinking that number one is easy. Number two, they just want the money, but it's not always about that. You're in a customer service field, so you have to make sure you're doing things right, and it has to be in order. There has to be structure. You can't just, oh, I'm just gonna do this just to get a couple 100,000 and I ain't gotta work for nobody, but your customer service is poor. You sending out your packages and they missing whatever they done bought. So yeah, it's all about structure.
What was we
It's
saying
all
about
about
proper
having great,
preparation?
yes, prevents poor performance.
Prevents piss poor performance, boo. Let me tell you about it. That's,
Yeah.
that's facts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't take the time to even educate themselves on how to properly lay the foundation in the industry that they're trying to break into. Even for myself, I can be a testament to that. Even with this podcast, like a lot of this, I did do a lot of research, I did do some reading on some things, but I still feel like I only scratch the surface of what's involved in a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Even with my music and stuff, like I picked up guitar randomly just because I kind of want to say bored, but I also was like going through life and stuff, and it's very therapeutic. But
Mm-hmm.
after I picked it up was when I'm like, dang, I actually love this thing. I should probably do some research and learn how to be good at it as opposed to just, plucking some strings.
The brain.
So I
Yeah,
think,
and that makes sense because it's just like anything that you're going into. If you're graduating from somewhere and you're going into, I don't know, nursing or doctors, you have to stay up on the next things. You have to be in the know because things are always changing. The world is evolving. So you have to keep yourself educated.
that's right. One of the things that I learned from my ex is that he was growing in his career very fast. And I was confused as to how. Because I had went to college, got a degree. He did not. He went to the military. And I was like, I wasted all this dang on time and money on school for what? If he making like
Mm-hmm.
more than double of me. And one thing I learned was that he really was taking the time to study and get all these like certificates and all this other stuff, which pretty much shows that, okay, you've learned what you need to learn. Now you get to the next level. It's almost kind of like a video game almost. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all are gamers like me, but
it
it's like
shows your knowledge in the
eggs.
curtain. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Them accolades, girl. So
Yeah.
research, people don't read enough, you know.
That's for sure. A lot of people don't even like reading.
What's a book? What is
But
that?
it's but it's effective though.
Yes,
I
it's
don't know.
necessary.
Like honestly, I'm gonna be all the way real. I still love to go to Barnes and Nobles and get an actual physical book. A lot of people still want to use like Kindle, which is cool, but I like turning the pages.
It's
I
something like,
like
Me too.
collecting books.
yes,
hmm
big time, big time. So I think the last thing we were going to touch on was like disorganization in people. I think we already kind of established that though. Like, just taking the time to build that foundation. And I would say as well, sometimes people take too much time and then they don't action it. That was like something I would do as well. Like I would start reading, gathering all these notes. Like I have a book of notes on the stuff that I learned. But then when it came to action, and it's like, oh, I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I'm ready. So like definitely taking the time to build the foundation And then also taking the time to plan out a course of action. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
is, I think
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Jordan, what you think?
Y'all did a good job. Proud of y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all did.
We do
Thank
have
That's how you
you.
know.
a follow up question though.
I feel like it was pretty cool. We was pretty much gonna ask, how have you, if you have, how have you overcome any of these challenges that we've discussed today? If you have, I would be very interested in you sharing some tips with the group so that we can learn something that maybe we didn't think of before, or, spread the wealth, spread the knowledge.
Okay, so I would just say I feel like prayer goes a long way, but just not giving up because there's a lot of times like I felt like doing that and realized like I had to find the strength to, just push myself, keep going just to get over whatever I'm dealing with as far as the challenge. I just need to find a way to get over it. And I just feel like giving up is not really an option, especially when you have a family, have to make a living, have to, wake up to face the next day. So I would just say, just take it like one step at a time, even if you have to do it slowly, because I feel like pain is temporary and we're going to get over it eventually. So,
That's facts.
yeah.
That's big facts. I like that. That was one of my New Year's resolutions is to stay committed, pretty much stay consistent. Even if I take a week off of posting on Instagram or a week off of whatever because of something that happens in my life, it's learning how to press pause rather than stop. You know what I mean? So that goes a long way. Thank you, Shanice.
I like that what you said.
I'm still working on things myself, so I'm learning as I go.
It's a learning process, learning as you grow.
Learning as you grow. That's right.
All right, y'all. So, pretty much wrapping this up. That was a very, very, very successful first episode of InVoke Podcast. Catch us on the Clubhouse app. If you would like to contribute to the conversation during our live sessions, definitely join Clubhouse. It's free, it's quick. Join our house. I'm gonna make sure I post the link everywhere that you're gonna be hearing this audio. And yeah, we gonna get into it, baby.